Hello. In this video, we are going to style our number guessing game page. So we have these elements out on the page here, but we would maybe want to change up the background and organize some stuff around. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the CSS page that we have here. So if we open up over to this set of files, there's a style.css document. So this file lets us modify all those CSS rules here. So I'm just gonna clear out some of the stuff that we have with our basic P5 page and get it to look more like this. I'm gonna start just with a body selection and then these curly braces here. So I can type some CSS rules inside. So I might change like the background color to navy or something like that. Right, so with those CSS rules here, I just select what it is that I'm changing. The body tag is the entire page. And then between the curly braces, I just say what those different styles are. It's like the background color, colon, and then navy. I just chose a color here. Um, and you can pick very specific colors, and then you end it with a semicolon. Just notice the kebab case here that things are hyphenated. And then I could just add more and more rules if I wanted to, setting the color to white. So something like that. I can at least get the page to look more like this. Now, as you're choosing different colors, I do like on this w3schools.com website, if you go under tutorials, there is this tutorial called Learn Colors. So they actually go through a lot of things in color theory and just how to pick different kinds. Now, I've been using just names a lot. So you can do that. You can just use straight up names. But very commonly we use um, these hex codes to define specific colors. Or you might use the RGB function where you pass in decimal numbers for how much red and how much green and how much blue. So these are just showing what the hex codes are for red, green, and blue, uh, the ones that we could just name anyway. But if you wanted all kinds of different colors, then there are these different codes you could look up. These are named as well. But so what I'm looking for here is there's this section called color palettes. Right, so this has a set of color palettes that we can look up those hex numbers to get different designs like this. So I'm going to, I think, go with this one here. I think I'd like to try out having this like green color as the background. So I'm just going to copy this hex code here. So when I say background color, then I'm just going to paste in that hex code. So notice how it just starts with the pound symbol. I keep saying hex code because that's the kind of numbers these are. They're hexadecimal numbers. So instead of only having 10 digits for decimal, that goes up to 9, we actually have 16 digits that go up to F. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. So that's why they're called that. But this gives us that kind of green color, and it looks pretty good with the white, but I wondered if I tried this color gray here as the text color, if that might look pretty nice too. And not so much. Maybe trying out the brown. I'll probably just stick with white. I'm just going to stick with white. Just for the purpose of illustrating this, what would the hex for white be? Be FF, 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 or just FFF for short, because we're turning all of the colors on as high as they can possibly go. So that makes the color white, or I could just type the word white. All right, so just did a little bit of styling here. I could change the text size and stuff like that. I might decide that font size should be maybe 200% of what it is now. I just want it to be larger. Yeah, something like that. All right, now, depending on the size of the page, this looks okay, the way it's laid out. But what if I wanted to like reorganize these things a little bit? Now, one easy thing I could do is back in the HTML, I could add a BR tag. I'm going to end up with a different solution, but um, so after the guess label and then the text box for the guess, I could just put a BR tag that would shove these onto the next line like that. So I could mix those in. That would make it kind of nice because some of these elements are automatically taking up their own space, and then some of them are just going left and right of each other. If I really make this page wide, you can see how they actually tend to stick together. So how could I really format that a little bit differently? I also want to think about. I would probably like this stuff to be centered. I think that would look pretty nice to have that going on. So there's something I can do that a lot of times makes formatting the page pretty easy. So if I go into my style.css, one thing I could do is set the text align property to center. So that will do some of it for me. Yep. So it takes all those elements and it just centers them on top of each other. But I might also try this other little step here. If I set the display property to flex, see what this changes. Yeah, it makes things kind of goofy. But if I change the flex flow to column, it makes the page kind of look like this. It's not, there's a lot of things we could play around with to make it look a certain way, but I think I might go with my um, more hard-coded solution um, of doing some text align centering that ends up looking pretty nice, and then maybe just throwing some break tags in here. So I just deleted those two things. Went back to using the text align center. That's helping me out a lot. And then so after the input for guess, that's where I want to just add a break tag. And then same thing after the input for wager, I want that guess button to be below it. And then that should do it. Yep. So yeah, so that move that button down below. All right, and then yep, there are some elements that kind of do that by themselves, like the paragraph tag, for example, already starts on its own line. That's what we call a block element, just like the H1 and H3. Whereas labels and inputs, they're inline, so that's why they look that way. All right, so we have some formatting going on here. So we can start to make it a little more interactive. But one more little thing I wanted to do was see how to add an image to the page. And this is just purely for decoration. But what if I want a little image of a coin or something? So if I can at least find an image of a coin, so I'm going to do a little Google image search